Hey, Kapper here, and if you are someone that's looking at buying land, either now or in the future, whether it's hunting land or acreage, and you're interested in how the entire process works from start to finish, then you'll want to stay tuned. Okay, so I am jacked. I am really excited. I believe that we found another diamond in the rough property, a good project property, and I'm going to check it out with Curtis here this afternoon. Unfortunately, I'm booked up with an MRI right now because I'm going to need probably 2 surgeries here, which sucks. But, you know, life is short. You got to do what you can when you can, as much as you can. So immediately after this MRI, I'm going to hustle and meet and check out this diamond in the rough for the very first phase, obviously looking at it. But I believe we'll be putting an offer in writing and negotiating by the end of today. So the first important thing for people buying property is when you're looking and you know what properties are selling for in the area you're looking, and you find one that's under advertised and it's a good price. Okay, this is what I mean by under advertised. The description reads 40-acre wooded plot surrounded by farm fields, saline river running through the back corner, great hunting location, small pond on the property. And the pictures really stink, and that's all you get on this particular listing. Compare that to other hunting parcels and you'll see what I mean by under advertised. You need to drop everything you're doing and hustle over there. If I didn't have this MRI, I would be over there right now immediately upon finding it and putting my boots on the ground, and if I like it, putting an offer in writing. Because you know what happens if you don't do that? Not you finds it, and not you is me. So I've done this enough to know when you spot a good one, you need to jump on it fast. That's kind of what this video is about. Not necessarily so much stuff that's like high priced, but diamonds in the rough, you need to get there so fast. One other quick announcement, Curtis, you guys know him from my channel, from Heartland Deer Management. He just passed his realtor's license, and he's getting on part-time with, you guessed it, whitetail properties, which is not an easy task. So Curtis is going to show this property for me. He's the one that actually found it, this diamond in the rough. But that would be awesome if I could be part of his first sale of a property on a part-time basis. So looking forward to it. Next step is I'm headed out to look at the land. All right, check this out. I'm getting ready to meet Curtis. He had to bug out from his real job, and we're gonna go check it out. But I got Curtis a Sprite that he wanted, and look at that. I even got the end of the wrapper on there. That's restaurant quality. And then I got me iced tea, but I'm gonna spike mine with some serious energy. So we're ready to roll, but don't tell Curtis I got this. That's our little secret. So when I'm wired high on sugar, he'll have no idea why, but I treat myself, that's pretty naughty really. But for occasions like this, going to look at a diamond in the rough property, you gotta just treat yourself every now and then. Rock and roll. All right, here's the front entrance. And there is the pole building right there. What do you say, man? You ready to go look at some property?
Ready to go. First client, Joe Kapper.
All right, let's do it.
Getting ready to walk through this, found this 40 acres here in the border by Saline Creek. Should be a pretty good travel corridor, so take a look at it, walk through it, and see how it pans out.
All right, let's roll, baby. This is across the road here, the closest home of any kind. It's not even a home.
I've got it all posted too.
All right, we're up by the building, and it appears that it's been broken into in the past, but we kicked up about 6 or 8 deer right off the bat. So right up in this front corner, it looks like mostly oak. Nice mix of hardwoods, probably been logged off. 10 to 20-ish years ago, you could see stumps, and also there's nothing really large. But when you're buying a hunting land, you can almost guarantee yourself that it's been logged. Because if you buy something with mature timber, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for it, because they add the timber value onto the acreage price. This is the kind of stuff you'll find around especially on diamond in the rough properties, just, you know, garbage and stuff laying around. You got that one there, and then over there in the woods there's another fiberglass, but this is really not bad at the moment as far as trash. All right, there's starting to get a little terrain changes here. We got what's a dry creek right now in a low area, and that top shelf there was probably 10 acres of just the oak flat, literally flat. Curtis is on the phone with a realtor. There's an access road right here, right on the corner, which could be good, could be bad. There's no gate on it. So if that's the neighbors accessing theirs, that's a big drawback. Worse off, since it hasn't been surveyed, problems come up when you survey a property like this, and let's say that access road is on your piece, but they've been using it forever. Now you got a war with your neighbor before you even walk in the door over things like that. And it appears that this property has not been surveyed. So definitely things to keep in mind. Walk all the lines so you could see what's right next to it. More garbage. There's an old tire there. But this stuff could be floating in on the floods, but I've seen several pieces of trash here, which is usually a trespasser indicator. All right, here is one of the potential pluses, is the Saline River touches a corner of this property. So you could probably float this duck hunting if you want. I know there's fish in here. And the good news is on the other side is it keeps all them property owners off with a good barrier. So on this particular piece, you really have one property owner down this way on this side, and then you have another one on that side, and otherwise the river is a good border. Okay, there's our first deer stand. Curtis spotted it. Looks like an old wooden one, but that's something to pay attention to also, is how many stands are on the property, where they are, how close they are to the line, etc. Right now, Curtis and I are standing on this ridge that parallels that river right there. So there's definitely some food plot potential areas in here where these deer are going to be traveling the river. Okay, hang on once. All right, Curtis says there's probably a pinch point here. I kind of thought it on the map, but now we're on the ground. And when we were walking back here, I'm like, oh, what pinch you talking about? You got huge woods here, but now I'll let him take over.
The river is just right here. It has a little overflow with a little slough. It's, you can tell pretty thick with buck
Oh, that is
it's,
nasty.
It's swampy. So some deer are going to walk around the edges of that. That makes a really good pinch point coming around that slough. As we see in that trail we just walked on, looked like possibly a pretty good deer trail.
Yeah.
In the leaves there. So this would be an excellent location for a stand.
This reminds me, in northern Wisconsin, my uncle had a beaver pond that looked like this. And daggone it, them big bucks would lay in there. They would lay in that wet, like them islands there. You see that one right there? Hang on a minute. So you got that island right there in that little slough. You get in there and you cut any trees down and you make it nice and thick, or thicker than it is. And they'll potentially bed on them little islands. All right, just looking at some tracks in the mud here. We've got a big old, what I first thought was dog. It's got 4 pads, but it's shaped really round and really funny. I'll have to do some looking on that if there's a chance that could be mountain lion, but it's quite large. I'm gonna say a lot of beaver sign on this parcel, but so far nothing fresh. Sometimes the DNR traps them to get rid of them. Other places they prefer them to continue to build wetlands like this. It's clear that right here there was a dam at one point in time, but now it's open. If they were to ever dam that up, this would be a beautiful little lake in here. All right, well, I found a much fresher beaver evidence right here. That's quite fresh. You know, some DNRs would let you build a pond here, which would be awesome. It actually would be the feds here, Army Corps of Engineers, for more wildlife habitat. So that, if I were to buy this, I'd definitely be looking into that. All right, this is what you want to see if you're a deer hunter. A scrape, a broken branch. I mean, you just hope that's not a mock scrape because there's really nothing recent in it. But so far, that's the very first scrape we've seen. Haven't seen any rubs yet. Actually quite surprising. A lot of signage. A lot of sign. Other things to look for are access or potential future access. I saw this ridge that I'm standing on, and if you follow it up to the road here, this would be a good place to put an access at. The corner is right on that road corner there. So you could put a culvert in here and have an access into one of your corners of the property, which could be helpful. Well, here we have a somewhat feeble attempt at a food plot, but looks like maybe a throw and grow, and then there's a stand over there on the far side of it. This is really the only thing we've seen on this whole 40 of any kind of like improvement or anything like that. I don't know, I'm to the point in my life, this looks good for the bobcat, but Mrs. Kapper sees a lot more than that. Wood, tin, barn boards, even those hinges and stuff. I mean, look at the bullet holes and the beer bottles. Yeah, wow. Okay, well, this property was a little disappointing, but I think I know a reason why. They used to live here and they moved their mobile home out, but these woods are just too wide open for me. Something is not right. I believe they've been working with foresters in here and keeping it clear. And here's one of the reasons I say that. If you look up here next to the road, the brush is super thick, and over there you have beautiful mix of pines and cedars. And look at this travesty right here. These are hemlocks. I'm almost certain they're hemlock. It's a very hemlock type of tree. They're fairly rare, but they are beautiful. And you could see how fat they are at the bottom. They've been cutting them year after year, maybe even spraying Roundup on them. Here's another beautiful one right here. But, you know, these are things when they grow, you get all the seedlings and you can plant them around your woods. So my theory is the reason it doesn't look like this is because they have purposefully been keeping the brush down so it's a, quote, park-like setting in their backyard. That's my 2 cents. That's the summary of this particular property right now. Not sure where we're going to go with this. But Curtis, thanks for taking me out
Yeah,
here.
no problem, buddy. It's worth a shot to look at anyway.
Okay, so the result of that property was a bust. It was priced very much below everything else. So you could have got affordable property, and it had power and it had water, which is a big thing, but it was just too much. It had two sides of road frontage, and that very third side where you got a 12-acre piece, them guys coming in and out basically killed that property. So, and you need to put cover in there, you need to put food in there, maybe some watering holes. It needs a lot of work, even to get it halfway decent, and you're at the mercy of everything else around you there. So that one was a bust. However, tomorrow, which is Friday, December 8th, we're going to look at another property, an investment property. It's a big property, and I'll probably show you along on that one and show you what we're thinking and if we decide to put in an offer or not on that one. So stay tuned. We're property hunting for investment property to get whatever we have left out of the stock market, because I don't trust it anymore. If you've lived through 5 crashes like I have, you'll know what I'm talking about. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you posted.